Today I'm going to show you how we can make a twirl effect in Photoshop, and we are going to start with some traditional technique, then we will have some improvisation. I'm Sumit from Sumit Photo World, and today we are meeting again after a long time. We'll create one base Photoshop file which you can use again and again in future, so you don't need to repeat all the actions again to create a twirl. So without wasting any time, let's start our practical. So this is a Photoshop. You can see we can create a new file. Either we can go to the file menu or we can click on new file button. So when we are creating a new file, we have to select custom, and it's best to create one high definition file instead of some raw number of aspect ratio. We can create one high definition which you can use anywhere on in any media which supports full HD. So for high definition we are going to use the pixel range which is traditional 1920 width and 1080 height, and we'll just keep this resolution 300 pixels, so it'll be high quality image we'll get and at the end. So for RGB color we'll just keep it as 8-bit. For background contents we can select the color black, and there is one reason for selecting color black. I'll tell you that how it is useful to create twirl effect and when we have a base color as black. For color profile and pixel aspect ratio we'll keep it as default, and just click on the create button. So now our file is ready, and what we have to do, we have to insert one image in this, so we can create a twirl effect using that image. And to insert image we have to create one layer, one empty layer. And we can create empty layer by going to the layer menu and selecting new layer, or we can click on this plus sign button and you have to just click it and it will insert one new empty layer. So what we can do, we have to just insert our image right onto this layer. So I have image ready for this tutorial, and I'm going to insert this image on this new layer, and we'll just expand this image to cover the whole canvas. And once you do this, you just have to just click on this check button, or we can hit the enter key to commit the changes. Now we are ready with our image layer, and what we have to do, we have to just convert this layer into smart object. So once we convert our layer into smart object, when apply any filter, it will allow us to customize those filters later on. So we'll see how it works. So to convert this layer into smart objects, we can right click on the layer and select convert to smart object, and once it's converted we can apply the filters. So whenever we are creating twirl effect, so there are some traditional methods, so I'm going to follow those at initially. So we have to go to filter menu, go to pixelate and select meso tint. So when we are in meso tint, so there are a lot of options. You can see that what type of tint you can add. So long strokes is something which will add a lot of strokes in image, and it will be quite useful when we are creating twirl effect. And we have to just click OK. So you can see it's smart filters created, and all the filter effect will be coming under smart filter. Okay, so once this filter applied, we have to apply radial blur multiple times. So we'll go to filter again, select blur and radial blur. So in this radial blur we have option blur method, we have to select zoom, and quality we'll select draft. Just click OK, so it will be 100%. So click OK, and we have to apply the same filter again. Either we can select radial blur, it will be recent, it will create same effect, or we can go to blur and radial blur again to see the options. So it will be blur method, zoom 100% amount, and quality will be draft. So it's doing very fast. When we are doing in draft, it will be quite robust, quite quick. So now at the final blur radial effect, we'll select best. So we'll go to filter again, blur, radial blur, and this time we'll select best. When we apply quality as a best, it will create radial blur effect at the best possible. It will takes few extra seconds to create blur effect, but it will be the neatest quality of work. Now our layer is ready for the twirl effect, and to apply twirl effect we have to go to filter menu again, select distort. Under distort we have option of twirl. Under twirl we have option just to define angle. So 120-degree angle is something which is quite known for twirl effect, and we can create really balanced way of twirl, and we will see how it helps when we combine multiple twirls together. So once we define this, we have to click OK. So you can see our first twirl is ready. So that's how we have created our twirl effect. And now what we have to do, we are ready with the twirl, and what next, what we have to do. So we want to make sure that we don't need to repeat this process again and again. If you want to create twirl effect in going forward, we don't need to do same all this process again. So what we can do, we can convert this layer into a frame. So how we do this, we have to just go to frame tool, and under frame tool, when we select frame tool, we can convert any layer into frame. So better to create a frame little outside, create a little extra space from the outside, so anytime you drop image in there, it will make sure that it will cover all the canvas area. So we have to just create a frame around it. And once we have selected, we can just expand the layer again, and you can see our frame layer is ready, and we have image inside the frame, and you can see that all the smart filters are there intact, so there is no problem with the smart filters. So we'll just what we can do, we can test it by dropping an image, but before that I'll show you how we can create a complete twirl effect by making a duplicate copy of this. Instead of repeating all the steps again, we'll create a duplicate copy of this layer. And to create duplicate copy of layer, either we can go to layer menu and create a and select duplicate frame, or we can right click on this layer and select duplicate frame from here. So we have to just click on OK to create a duplicate layer. Now our duplicate copy of the layer is ready, and we have to create a twirl effect in a way that it looks like a mirror image. So how we'll do this? So we have to just flip the image couple of times. We'll select the copy layer, go to edit menu. Before that, sorry, we have to select this image, note the frame, because here we are going to flip image, note the frame. So when we select image, you will see the square like this, it's the frame you can see, and when we select frame, it will be like this. You can change that width of frame, but here we are going to flip image, not the frame. So we have to select image, and we'll go to edit menu, transform. We have to first flip horizontally and then vertically. So first we are going to do it horizontal. Now we have to do the same process again to flip vertically. We'll go to edit menu, transform, flip vertical. So you can see if both layers are ready to combine. So this is our first layer and this is second layer. Now they both are looking different, but we have to blend it. And when we are blending two layers, especially in twirl effect, we select most of the time darken blend mode, which works most of the time. But for this image, I believe light dodge is something which is giving more contrast, more we can say abstract, we can see in overall in the whole frame, and it looks quite balanced. So that's how we blend two images, two layers in Photoshop using the blend mode. Now our twirl effect is ready. So we have one image with twirl effect. So what about the second twirl effect? If we want to create twirl effect on another image after a few days later, how we will use the same PSD file again? And when we are working with frame, and when there is a frame over top of another frame, we have to be very careful when inserting images, because if you try to insert image on a frame when we have multiple frames one over another, it will be very difficult to insert images. So to insert image in all the frames, we have to deactivate, or we can say disable the visibility for layer, to make sure that our one frame is only active when we are inserting image. So what we have to do, we have to just insert the image. We have our second image ready with us. So every time you are using image for TWIRL effect, try to use image which is having at least 3 or more colors, something which is colorful, which will create a lot of abstract of colors, that will be giving you more creative effect in final work. This is my second creative work, and we can use this for our second TWIRL effect. We'll just drag this image and put it. You can see the image directly inserted and TWIRL effect is ready. Okay, now our one layer is ready with the TWIRL effect, and you can see how magically it created the TWIRL effect using all the smart filters we have created. And we have to just activate the other duplicate copy of layer, which is a frame layer, and deactivate the below one, just to make sure when we are inserting image, it will go into that duplicate copy of frame layer. So we have to just insert the same image again. So now our both layers are ready. So you can see our image is ready with the blend effect, but the blend effect we have selected in previous image, which was in dark shade, was working correctly for the previous image but not for this. So for this image we have to choose different blend mode. So instead of linear dodge, we can select the darken. So you can see how beautifully it created the TWIRL effect for this. And to create perfect TWIRL effect, we have to just do the same we can say procedure again. To flip the image, we have to select image, not the frame. So we have to select image and go to edit menu, transform, flip horizontal, and we have to go to edit menu again, transform, flip vertical. So you can see the color, it's not quite mixing well. So what we can do, we have to get the colors, these red shades color we have to get from the bottom layer. How we can get that? So for this, it's very easy technique. We have to just create a mask layer for this, and to create a mask layer, we have to just click on the mask button, and it will create one empty mask. So to get details from the bottom layer, because it's a white mask which is default, and we have to get details from the bottom layer, we have to paint it with the black. So our black color is selected for the paintbrush, and to get colors, we have to just simply paint it. Yeah, so that's how we got the colors from the bottom layer, and it created really cool effect. And why we use this base layer, it's a very technique. Okay, when we create a TWIRL effect, what it's doing, it's just stretching the pixels. So when pixels are getting stretched, so it'll create some empty spaces, and that's how we can see something in the background. It's more visible in the dark shade images instead of the light shade images. So I'll show you the same TWIRL effect again in the dark shade image, and see that how this black background is helping there. Now our dark shade TWIRL is ready. And what about the base layer? If we don't have the base layer with the black fill color, what will happen? How it will look like? So just deactivate the base layer. You can see how the colors getting spilled off, and you can see the empty layer behind it. And just to overcome this effect, just to make it we can see the balance in the TWIRL effect, we have to just have the similar shade of color in the background. This is how it creates a really beautiful TWIRL effect. And when we have black shade in the base, we don't need to worry about the spill of colors. We can easily manipulate. You can use different shades of colors, depends on the image what you are using for the TWIRL effect. So now our TWIRL effect is ready, and we can use the same base file again and again to create a new TWIRL effect using different images. So it's quite simple process. So let me just recap that what we have done. We have created a base file with the black shade, and we have created a layer on top of it to insert image. Then later on we converted the image into smart object just to make sure that when we apply the filters, it will create smart filters. Instead of just applying the filter, it will create all the filters under smart filters. So later on you can manipulate all those filters as per your requirement, and we create the frame for that layer. So anytime we are creating a frame, we can insert the image. You don't need to resize the image every time. So when we are creating a frame, create a little extra we can say oversized frame to cover the whole canvas, and we can just insert the image right into the frame, and it will apply all the smart filters every time. And on top of it we can create one duplicate layer to, we can say, complete the TWIRL effect, to create a mirror kind of effect. And so anytime you do this, make sure you are creating a copy of it, so you don't need to create all the filters again. So it will create a duplicate copy of the frame layer with all the smart filter. Every time you have to just do one small effort. You have to just select the image, note the frame, select the image, note the frame, and you make sure that you are flipping it only twice. You are flipping it once horizontal, once vertical. Once the image is flipped, what you have to do, you have to apply the blend mode. So you have to select a different blend mode based on the colors in the image. You can select different blend modes, so make sure that your contrast looking good after blending. That's one thing you need to notice, and that's it overall. So we have done the TWIRL effect. We have created really good quality of TWIRL using just simple effort, and it's quite improvised way of doing the TWIRL effect. So anytime you want to learn more, you want to join me in my online workshop for photo editing. I have photo editing workshop for Lightroom, for Photoshop, with a whole bunch of tools. We'll work together and we'll spend good amount of time to learn all the techniques. You can visit my website sumitphotoworld.com. Under this you will have events calendar, workshop and tours. Under that events calendar, you can see that, and once events calendar is open, you can find the complete list of events I have. It has all the events including online and outdoor events. You can register. So my next Photoshop editing workshop is on 23rd September. So this is an online workshop, online class for 4 hours. We'll spend 4 hours together and we'll learn each and every tool in the Photoshop. It'll give you just, we can say, good base to develop more in the Photoshop world. If you subscribe my channel, click the bell icon so you'll get notification every time I upload my new video. And I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and looking forward to more suggestions and comments, what you like in this video and what your content you want me to create more and more for future learning. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.